Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. I took a bit of a break. Just a little bit to chill out, which is why I wasn't here last Monday or Sunday. But I'll be back this week, so we'll be back to doing our life, which is great. I believe that what we did last time was lemonade, which, if I remember correctly, was us walking around town with our friends, eventually making lemonade and having a water balloon fight in the middle of the street with Derek and Cove. After we tried to figure out what's something that we could do because we were bored, and I believe the other one that we did was dinner, but I could be wrong, which is us going over to Cove's house for a dinner, which with his whole family, which was nice, even if it was a little weird. His family's a little weird, but we get it, we vibe. Alright, we've got only a couple more things left before the soiree, which is responsible, boardwalk, growing, road trip, escapade, summer work, and mall. I'm going to start us off today by hitting mall, because I think that sounds fun. Ah yes, I forgot, our cousin Lee is staying over. Lee's visit today turned out to be more involved than you expected. After overhearing where the Holden family was going, Lee insisted on seeing Mr. Holden's shop firsthand. An hour later, and Lee was busy looking at every item on display. Because Cove's dad offered supplies, lessons, and tours, his shop had all the scuba-related stuff you could imagine. Fins, masks, suits, and snorkels. After circling around the shop, we finally stopped and looked at the whole room. I definitely feel like we've been here before, even if we don't really hang around. It wasn't often you tagged along to hang out at the shop. We preferred it that way. It meant there was always something new to look at, even if it was just a layout change. Let's see, this is our friend's dad's shop. Were we excited to come today? Were we in good spirits, or were we just okay? I don't think we're unhappy to be here. Excuse me, sorry. I think I'm gonna go with you felt okay. Not your first choice, but not bad. You and Cove were there recently. It was fine to see the shop, but you wouldn't mind doing something else today. Lee was still busy poking through the various wetsuits displayed, so you decided to see what Derek and Cove were doing. They were too absorbed in their conversation to notice you standing near them, leaning against the counter. You were able to pick up the topic quickly.
Anyway,
My dad told me the new stuff is selling like crazy. Yeah, the material has this new blend with less neoprene. My dad says people are really interested in it. It brought a smile to your face hearing that the shop was doing well. I'm just gonna listen. I'm nosy, but I'm also got really nothing to add to the conversation, so... It was interesting just to watch them speak about what they knew. But really, there's just so much to think about with a business. It's crazy. No matter how much I come, I still don't think I get it. Cove hummed and nodded in agreement, causing a good-humored laugh from Derek. I thought you only liked the scuba diving part, not the job part. That's the best part. I think about the other things too.
I gotcha.
Cool. The business side, running it, that's my favorite. Out of the corner of your eye, you caught movement, and you realized that Lee was now standing next to you. When your dad's retired, do you think you're gonna carry on the store? Both sons shrugged in unison.
Well,
There's tons of things I could do. My dad thinks so too. He doesn't want me to plan on working here forever. Cove's gaze fell to the floor. You could see the conflict flashing across his face. I don't know. It's a lot, being the real boss of something and totally in charge. If my mom's had their own business, I'd take it over. If my mom's had one, I wouldn't want to take it over either. I can't run a business. I wouldn't want to take over someone else's shop either. I want to do my own thing. And do you think your dads would let me take over this shop? No matter what you do, shop or no shop, you'll be amazing. Add your own opinions to conversations. I wouldn't want to take over someone else's shop either. I want to do my own thing. I want to decide what I do myself, not just follow behind what my parents ended up picking. Totally. Cove's parents left the back office and came over, catching your attention. Sorry, kids. Looks like it's gonna be a long one. I know usually others hold the fort down, but I really need to stay here today. I know you just wanted a little visit. It'd be boring getting stuck here because of me. Kyra can take my car and go back to the neighborhood. Cove and Derek gave him an understanding look. Mr. Holden crossed his arms and flashed you all a big smile, trying to lift the mood. The one condition is that someone has to remember to come back for me later. You don't get to strand me here, no matter how funny that might be. Kyra laughed and gave a thumbs up. Mr. Holden seemed satisfied with that. He moved on with the explanation. Derek, your dad also has his hands full today, so he doesn't have time to run you back home.
It's okay.
That's alright, sir. The title sir got him an awkward chuckle out of Cliff, which was cut short when Kyra elbowed him teasingly.
What do you think?
You already said I could borrow your car. Why don't I take all the kids somewhere fun for the afternoon?
Absolutely.
That's fine with me. Just please, come back eventually. Sometime today, Kyra. After multiple jokes about being left with no ride, you had to wonder if that actually happened in their past together. For you, my good sir, I swear, cross my heart. Happy with the promise, Cliff took out his black wallet and offered a $50 bill to Kyra. Here, in case you need gas or anything while you're out. Kyra smiled knowingly and accepted the bill without hesitation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cove's dad stuck the wallet back in his back pocket while he waved with a free hand. Okay, time for me to jump back into work. Have fun for me. Bye, Dad. Bye. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, Mr. Holden. Goodbye, sirs, madams, and most respected guests. He left the room with a wink and a flare, disappearing into the employees' only area of the shop. When Mr. Holden was out of sight, Kyra silently strolled over to the counter and carefully placed the $50 bill there. She turned back around and beamed a large smile at you and the others. Come on, gang, let's go see if this town has a mall. Yeah! Unable to contain her excitement, Lee actually jumped with joy while Cove and Derek just grinned. There wasn't a mall in your hometown, but Mr. Holden's store wasn't in Sunset Bird. Man, I'm yawny all the time. Full of yawns today. It might be possible to find a mall out here. Felt pumped for going to the mall. You felt okay about going to the mall. You didn't really want to go to the mall. Going off of what I know of Lane, growing up in a small community with very few people around except for when school is on. We're gonna say we felt okay, because Lane at least is interested in trying new things, but we're not super pumped. A trip to the mall had never failed you. You nodded, deciding that today was going to be alright. Let's go. She quickly herded the group out of the store into the car.
Oh.
As the driver, I get to choose my partner in crime. Naturally, I bestow the position of shotgun to my baby. Her comment had both Derek and Lee snickering. Cove was for sure embarrassed over the phrasing and blatant favoritism, but he took his seat by his mom without complaint. We can complain. We can not complain. We can joke. We can be okay, or we can be quiet. I feel like the whole group is enough lighthearted that we can jokingly complain. Boo, you're supposed to call shotgun, not assign it. That got a hearty laugh out of Kyra. Sorry, you'll get where I'm coming from when you start driving. You continued your teasing pout in the back. You'll understand when you're older was the worst excuse. I'll take the middle seat. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want a window seat. You two can have them. Are you cool with that? You thought it was odd that anyone would give up a window seat, but you knew Derek tried to be especially polite when he was a guest. You nodded.
Fantastic.
Good, sounds like we're all in agreement. Everyone squeezed into the car, buckling in, and Kyra turned the radio on. She set it to a top 40s pop station. Do I care about... I don't know. Basically, it's you're gonna be into it, or you're gonna ask to change the radio station. I think I'm gonna go with into it for now, because we did pick a last time we were in here a movie soundtrack, so quickly recognized the song playing. It was a new one by an artist you were listening to a lot recently. It wasn't long until your group realized that they were lost. But after enough driving in circles, Kyra's struggle paid off when she found a local mall. There were more cheers from Lee as Kyra pulled into a parking spot. Once your group had made it inside, the first order of business on this trip was checking what this mall actually had. Well, I see a yo-yo. I see America. I see something or town. I see a mysterious backwards question mark. All sorts of places in here. Where should we go? Ooh, I think I see a makeup store ahead. She rolled up on her tiptoes to get a better view. Meanwhile, Derek was eyeing the directory. There's a chocolate shop. Seriously, we have to go there. Yes. Wait, we need to find a decent jewelry shop. I need new hair ties and barrettes.
Nice.
We've also got to at least look for a game store. There's tons of things you can't get anywhere but a store that's just for video games. Hey, what are you thinking, Cove? I'm gonna look at the fish in the pet store. You could have guessed that much. Anywhere else? He smiled with some bashfulness. The food court. What about you, Lane? I definitely want to go to the chocolate shop, a bookstore, the arts and supply store. I think Lane's a gamer, video game store. Hit that accessory shop because I think bracelets are fun to look at. I don't need anything else though. That's all that really interests me. That's certainly a list. Good thing we have all afternoon. Yeah. I have my own stops I want to make. Let's agree to regroup here at 7 p.m.
What?
You're not coming with us? We're all in the same building. You won't be alone as you think. I'll be only a few minutes away at most. You're old enough to enjoy the mall without me hovering. Okay.
See you soon.
Be back here at 7 p.m. Toodaloo! Leaving Derek and Lee stunned by their newfound freedom, Kyra walked off. When she was almost out of sight, Derek's face twisted in confusion. Wow, she's really gone. Can't believe she just did that. This is so cool. We get to do whatever we want. Happy about it? Talk about amazing opportunity. Unsure? Was this really okay? Felt okay about the situation, or be unhappy about it. I'm gonna say unsure. Is it just me, or does it feel weird to be at the mall without a parent there? My moms wouldn't have done this. It's not just you.
Trust me.
It'll be okay. We'll be here together. And she's not gone for real. She's just somewhere around. With the decision already made, Derek tried to pull together his earlier enthusiasm for the trip. So where are we going first? Time's a-wastin'. Whatever's closest. Things were coming together, but you realized there might be a flaw in today's sudden plans. What's wrong, Lane? Did everybody bring money with them?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I did. I always have some on me when I come all the way out here. Let's see. Am I gonna have Lane be on the autistic spectrum or not? Because you had your money too. You left your money at home. The original plan was only visiting Mr. Holden's store. I don't really like this last one. I don't think Lane would do that. I kind of want to make sure. I want to see if there's stuff that I want to buy here. Give me a second. Cat causing problems. And I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm going to say Lane has their money on them. I feel like if I want to get something, I don't want to always rely on friends to get me stuff. So, immediately you felt better about the situation. It would have been a downer to not be able to think about anything about something at the mall because they didn't have money. Yup, it would have been sucky. I'm good. Now that everything was squared away, you explored the mall together as a group. There were many shops that you managed to venture into so far. You all even went to the chocolate shop, leaving you with a pep in your step. This was better than you'd thought. There was still so much to see. After having hit many of the top priority stores, you found yourself passing by a small booth. It was decorated in wind chimes of various sizes. You raised a hand up to one of the smaller ones. What sparked your attention next was Cove. You thought for sure he was going to stop by the booth the way he looked at it, but he kept going. Do you want one? It wasn't until Lee asked that you realized you had stopped in front of the booth without saying anything. Lee just continued to encourage you. You should get one. Nah, I'm just looking. It's nice to check stuff out. Lee hummed in agreement and then stared past the booth. Following her gaze, you saw the boys were already wandering too far ahead. Let's go. After leaving another clothing store, one that Lee couldn't resist exploring, you and your friends found yourself walking down the main hall of the mall again. It wasn't long until everyone you were with had their eye on the smoothie kiosk ahead. Should we stop? Yeah. As you approached, your eye was drawn to the dizzying list of smoothie combinations. A part of you wondered how long it would take to try them all. Hi there, do you need a rundown of how this works? Yes, please. Okay, first off, you pick up to 3 options of fruit or berries. Then I'll add the ice in the store's special smoothie base mix, and you'll have your very own smoothie for $4. There's only one size. Cove leaned over the counter a bit. For several moments, he intently studied the plentiful fruit and berry options. I want to get a strawberry banana smoothie with coconut, too. Sounds good. Is anyone else getting something? Can I get one that's just all mango? Of course.
Thanks.
I'd like strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries for mine. Thanks. Yeah, I want a smoothie. Pineapple, orange, strawberry, and that's everything. At that, everyone went ahead and paid for their individual drinks. You waited over at the other side of the booth where the drinks were to be put when they were done. Derek bounced on his feet, excited for his to be ready.
Aw.
This is gonna be good. Lei chimed in with her own enthusiasm. Everybody says their smoothie-based stuff can make any drink great. Cove, while quieter, looked just as eager for his smoothie. Luckily, there hadn't been anyone else before you, so it wasn't a long wait. Your group collected the fresh drinks as they were placed on the counter. Straws were placed through the opening at the top of the cup, and the first tentative sips were had. Derek sighed in satisfaction after his taste. Mango is too delicious. Mine is super good, too. Cove nodded and hummed in agreement. His straw was still in his mouth. I like these flavors in real life, so Lane is also happy. This is perfect. Cool. We all made excellent choices today. Yeah. Hey Lee, can I taste what you got? As long as you let me try yours too. Deal. You and Lee swapped cups and took several sips before swapping back. The berry blend tasted very strong. I like yours, but I'm really happy I got this. Thanks, Lee. I'm always there to help. Teenagerdom. We're gonna indulge in the sneakiness. Steal Derek's smoothie time. For a few minutes, you walked alongside Derek, waiting for the right moment you could covertly take a taste. When you went for it, Derek immediately noticed. His arm froze in place. He stared at you cautiously as you stood up straight and finished the sip you stole. There was no fighting the grin that quickly spread across your face. You didn't fail to miss the small blush that appeared. Are you crazy? Why would you do that? I wanted to drink some of yours. That's it? I would have been cool if you just asked, but it's alright. Oh gosh. It's so cute. He laughed shyly. Was it worth it? Yes, thanks. You're welcome. Lily looked away from you. She was trying to contain her laughter, but she still shook from the ones that got out. And we'll get another ask, so you get to only steal from one person. That's sad. Cove, could I have a drink of yours? Not for 1 second since getting it had his lips been apart from the straw, but he did seem to be considering your request. Jokingly begged, I beg you, Cove, please give me a taste of your smoothie, I need it. Cove smiled softly, and finally he offered the cup to you. You held the cup in both hands and took a sip. Thanks. You're welcome. It was kind of a sacrifice, you know. This is really good. Taking his drink back, Cove's smile seemed to grow bigger. His teasing tone made you grin. It is! I don't know. I personally don't like coconut, so I wouldn't say that. But Lane is a island vibes kid, so. As your group continued to wander the mall, you came to an area in the path that was wider. In the center of the opening was a collection of quarter-operated ride-on machines. Derek stopped as soon as he saw them, smiling ear to ear. I want to ride. I think we might be too big.
No way!
No way, we're not that old yet. He eagerly headed over to the machines, wanting to get a better look. Lee went along with it, smiling. I want to ride too. You quickly chased after Derek. He turned his head back at the sound of your footsteps and gave a thumbs up over his shoulder. Reconvening around Derek, you watched as he focused on the various brightly colored rides. Most were designed to look like real vehicles, but there were also some horse-shaped ones. One of them could even seat 2 people. I call the helicopter. Why? It's the coolest, and I think it'll move the most. He started digging in his pockets, pulling out whatever money he had left. Wait, is everything okay? I need 4 quarters, right? Yeah. I only have 2. There has to be more between all of us. Hold on. Pollett's wallets and purses were checked over. Derek still had 2. Cove only had 1, and Lee ended up with the most at 3. You didn't have any. You can have mine. Thanks, but you don't have to. It's not enough for me, and even if it was, it'd be dumb to ride while you had to watch. Cove shrugged. He had tried, failed, and looked unsure of what to do next. Couldn't we exchange dollar bills for more quarters at a store? Gosh. That's funny. That's funny. Derek slapped a hand to his cheek, eyes wide. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Let's do it. The group scattered to various shops around. When you shortly reconvened at the rides, everyone had more than enough quarters. There was no wiping the smile off your face. Despite the little hiccup initially, the plan to hitch a ride was coming together. Let's get this over with. We have the coins. Cheer up, man. It's gonna be good. Yay! There were enough machines that everyone claimed one for themselves. Derek got his coveted helicopter. Lee was happily on a horse. Cove waited to choose last. It seemed he didn't want to take a ride someone else wanted when he cared so little about it. You picked... I'm gonna go with a horse too. It was a grand steed. Cove took one of the free single-seater cars once he had gotten set. Looks were exchanged across the way and you each popped the coins in at the same time. The little rides stuttered to life. As the machines began moving up and down and side to side, Lee and Derek couldn't contain their laughter. Derek started waving from the window of the helicopter and Lee reached out to see if she could touch anyone as their machines jolted closer to hers. Cove, on the other hand, just gripped the side of the car. He was struggling to remain in the seat, looking very uncomfortable. My cousin is here, reaching out. We're horse riding friends. Grinning, you leaned forward and reached as far as you could. For a moment, a shot of panic went through you as you were about to tumble off the ride, but you hung on with a free hand and balanced yourself. Be careful! I'm trying! Your rides were syncing up in movement. Almost there. Your efforts were rewarded when you caught hold of her hand. We did it! Yeah! It was a battle to keep together as the rides went backwards, the two of you almost being accidentally pulled off your seat by the other, but that made it more fun. Soon all rides came to a stop and the group dismounted. Derek looked absolutely pleased at the conclusion of this pit stop. Then you noticed something out of the corner of your eye. You tilted your head to look directly at it, and you burst into laughter. That's funny. You turned back to your group and nodded in the direction of where you were looking. Isn't that one of those machines that takes dollars and gives quarters back? The kind that exists for people who don't have quarters on hand? Everyone's heads moved that way and saw that you were right. Derek chuckled awkwardly. That's exactly what it is. We're kinda dumb. We have to be to have missed that this whole time. Come on, let's just put this behind us. There's still places open. We haven't been everywhere just yet. You're here. You moved along from one stop towards your next, still jovial from the experience. Shortly into your walk, Lee ran over to a nearby trash can and tossed her smoothie cup. Derek went after her and threw his cup away. You followed suit and got rid of your empty cup too. Cove was the last to throw his cup away. He took one final sip, making sure he got every last drop. The clock inched closer to 7 p.m. as you all made your way back to the directory. It was hard to believe how fast the day went by.
So,
Where do you think your mom ended up today? We didn't see her anywhere. Dunno. She's just like that. Ooh, it's a mystery. Despite having vanished for the entire trip so far, when 7 p.m. hit, you spotted Kyra coming right over, waving cheerily. As soon as she was close enough, she pinched Cove's cheek.
hey,
Hey, baby and friends. Hi, Mom. He pushed her other hand back with one hand and rubbed his cheek with the other. Did you have a good day, gang? Yeah, today was awesome. We did so much. It was fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There was no hiding your joy. Like the others, you were smiling, ear to ear, because today went so much better than you expected. I'm glad we came here.
that I do.
I want to hear all about it during the ride back. She clapped her hands together once, making sure she had everyone's undivided attention. Speaking of that, we better head out. Cliff must be missing us, and you've got to be starving. It's dinner time, and you haven't eaten yet. Yeah. Everyone followed her lead and started walking out the door to the parking lot. Something about what Kyra said fed off to you. There were tons of places to eat. It's a mall. You could have had dinner. You wondered if it was just a good guess, but you could feel your eyebrows raise when it dawned on you. She might have been keeping an eye on you after all. You weren't pleased about that. She didn't have to lie. It was actually pretty slick. You weren't sure about that. It seemed kind of sketchy. Watching us the whole day while giving us also the freedom to do whatever we wanted and still not us not seeing her at all. I'm gonna give her credit for it because that is pretty slick. If she hadn't made that comment, you never would have known. You found it hard not to be impressed. Not once could you recall even catching a glimpse of her hanging around. Then now that you think about it, not seeing her ever was suspicious in and of itself. Shaking off those thoughts, you caught up with the others. Keeping the same seating arrangement as earlier, you all piled into the car and started heading back to the store. The drive went by without any problems as it was filled with chatter about the various things everyone saw around the mall. Soon enough, you'd arrived at your destination. It was a much faster trip, this time considering Kyra knew where she was going. Hearing the light jingle of bells from the front door being opened, Cliff poked his head out from the back. He lit up at seeing who was here. Hey, sport, did everyone have an adventure? Hi, Dad. We had a blast. Yes, we found the mall. The mall? Wish I could have joined. He deflated in an exaggerated way, his shoulders sloped. Kyra put a hand on his arm and smiled. There'll be other times. You set here? Almost. Mr. Holden sighed for real, then he pulled himself together, standing up straight.
Do you mind?
I just need a little more time to finish up. Would you be alright killing time for a little bit longer? It's okay. Yes, sir. No problem, Mr. Holden. We can have fun here. Excellent. What a great group of kids. He gave an approving thumbs up and Kyra nodded along. I'll give you a hand. I remember the ropes. Why, thank you. They walked side by side to the back room. Before he was out of sight, Cliff stopped and looked over his shoulder. If you leave the shop, don't go far. It's getting late. And then the parents were gone again. Let's go down to the docks. They're right down the way. Yeah. Oh, I saw those on the way here. I really wanted to check it out. You coming, Lane? All right. With a smile, Cove showed the way. Between the warm summer air and the smell of the ocean, you couldn't ask for a better night.
Thanks.
Thanks for letting me come. Me too.
Right?
Right? I'm happy we did this. Today was great. Cove, your mom and dad are really cool. Really? Totally. Cove looked at Lee oddly. He ran a hand through his hair and then his puzzled expression cracked with a chuckle. Yes. I guess sometimes they are. You continued walking. Every so often you would look up at the sky and see several stars poking out from between the clouds. At one point, you noticed that Cove stopped while Lee and Derek kept going on ahead, busily chatting. Initially, you wondered if something was wrong, but you quickly noticed that he still looked to be in good spirits. He decided to hang back with Cove. He gave you a quick, acknowledging look when you stopped at his side. You could taste the sea salt as you took a deep breath of the ocean air. Silently, you and Cove watched the ocean for a little while. There was something about the waves that you always found soothing. You couldn't think of a better way to end a busy day. Not much time later, Derek's chipper voice caught your attention. You and Cove both turned your gaze down the pier. "What are you doing there, slowpokes? Get over here! Hey, come on!" You looked at Cove at the same time he looked at you. You grinned and nodded your head in the direction of your friends. He gave you a small smile in return. Your footsteps echoed against the wooden planks of the dock and into the night as you ran to catch up. Excellent. Excellent, 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 excellent. And since we ended on a dock, wooden steps, we'll go ahead and do our second one for today, since these ones are longer, and do boardwalk. We'll see how I feel after that. We might do one more, but either way, moving on. Let's see. It was early morning, but the day was already buzzing with excitement. Your whole family was gathered together to wait with all 5 Suarezes in their cozy living room. Thank you, I am doing my best to keep myself steady. No burning out for me. It was early morning. Oh, I already read that. Out of it, obviously. Today you were all making a trip out to a boardwalk set park. It was a regular enough outing for Derek's family, but it would be your first time going. The boardwalk was a few hours away, and it was further when setting out from Sunset Berg. That's why the adults decided on the meetup here at the Suarez's apartment instead of gathering at the boardwalk itself. It gave your moms a little break from driving, and everyone got their last chance to run for the bathroom. You would be leaving very soon. While you waited for the trip to officially start, you sat on the couch with your hands in your lap. For a few minutes now, you tried to keep track of what the group gathered around the kitchen counter were up to. Elizabeth, your moms, and Mrs. Suarez were all busily making preparations from what you could tell. Meanwhile, Mr. Suarez had his hands full rounding up his 2 youngest kids. It seemed that they were taking an anti-shoes stance that morning, and in Nicholas's case, he needed to be talked into wearing a shirt too. On the cushion next to you, Derek was pumped for what the boardwalk had to offer. He was rambling a mile a minute about all the fun stuff he couldn't wait to show you. You were nervous about how busy it might be. You were excited about it. You were simply happy because Derek was happy. You were nervous about how busy it might be. Tugging at a loose thread on your shirt, you tried focusing on the positives. No matter how many people would be there, you knew that you had both families to stick with. This journey was also the first time for your and Derek's families were doing a big activity together. You couldn't believe it originally when the adults went through with the organizing the trip. Oh, before I forget, this is for you. You'd been prepared for your visit to the Suarez house in more ways than one, and you slipped a few wrinkled bills out of your pocket. $3, huh? You're a pal of your word, Lane. Thanks. You're welcome. With that, your debt had been paid.
Let's go.
Kids, come join us in the kitchen. It's time to pack your treat bags.
Cool.
Cool. sliding off the couch, you did not have the faintest idea what Mrs. Suarez meant, but you were summoned, and so you followed Derek's lead. He turned to say something over his shoulder. He'd guessed that line might be confusing to a newcomer. The snack bags are what we do for larger trips. Me, my brothers, you and Elizabeth too, we get to fill a little plastic baggie with any sweets and stuff we want. It's supposed to be for eating during the hours-long drive, but no one really cares when we snack. So we just have something if we need it. That's nice.
Same.
I think so too. It's great to have on hand. As you reached the kitchen, Elizabeth breathed past you with your mom's, following at a more relaxed pace. Derek raised a skeptical brow and pointed in her direction with his thumb. Doesn't she want a bag? Elizabeth stopped and spun around on her heel. Surprised, Derek put his hand back to his side. Elizabeth's lips curled into an all-too-pleased smirk.
What?
You heard Mrs. Suarez. She called for the kids to come. Ma shook her head at Elizabeth's taunting display. Your sister stepped forward and held up a zip bag that you hadn't noticed before. I already got mine while we were getting things set up for the rest of you. Her baggie was full of dried fruits and chocolate chips. She teasingly dangled it in front of your face, then in Derek's. Uh-huh, very mature, Elizabeth. You're not one of the kids at all. Sniggered at her. Elizabeth withdrew her treat bag. She watched you suspiciously while you composed yourself. It's nice to see you excited about snack time again. She snorted and gave you the most indignant stare. Ma leaned into Mom, trying to stifle her giggles. Everyone's gotta eat. After that, she left the kitchen and plopped down on your old spot on the couch. Your moms joined her, putting Elizabeth in the middle. Ma comfortably patted Elizabeth's leg. Glancing back towards the kitchen, Jorge and Nicholas were finally dressed and they dashed ahead of you. They excitedly crowded around their mom's legs. Now don't forget that the bag actually has to be able to close for it to count. She began passing out baggies to her two youngest. Then Mrs. Suarez turned to you and winked. That's my one rule for the treat bags, but other than that, feel free to go crazy. Nicholas and Jorge took that as their cue to rush up to the counter lined with tasty options and start stuffing their bags. Mrs. Suarez handed you and Derek your own plastic baggies. Now that it was in your hand, you realized it was the smallest zip bag size. There was no way you were going to get a little bit of everything. From my experience, you can fit about 4 handfuls of stuff before it starts getting too tough to close. With a determined nod, you were going to get a good look at the snack options from where you stood. You were going to have to strategize how to put your baggie together. The younger boys swiftly finished selecting their road trip treats. Jorge's bag closed easily while Nicholas's was proving a challenge to squeeze shut. The plastic was ballooned out on the sides, entirely full of cookies and candy. His brow pinched as he struggled with the zip. To everyone's surprise, Nicholas got it to seal and he proudly held up the bag for his mom's inspection. Impressed, she nodded. Don't forget to take a water bottle too. We don't want to lose anyone to dehydration today. The two boys held their prizes tightly and grabbed the water bottles off the edge of the counter on their way out of the kitchen. It was your turn now at the buffet and the spread was delicious. La 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 la. Where are the pretzels? Fruit gummy candies, peanuts, almonds, walnuts, plain crackers, sunflower seeds, shortbread cookies, sandwich cookies, dried mangoes, dried apples, dried cranberries, cereal, granola, chocolate chips. Where are the pretzels? Where is the popcorn? This is heretics. We're gonna get shortbread cookies, chocolate chips, dried cranberries, fruit gummy candies. Because that's what sounds tasty in there. But I would have put pretzels. Pretzels was my first choice. I would have put pretzels and popcorn. Where is my pretzels? Pretzels. joy. Humming happily, you ran your hand across the side of the plastic baggie. You were grateful for your haul, and you proudly showed it to Derek. He gave you a thumbs up.
I gotcha.
Variety is the spice of life. He closed his bag, and you realized it was completely full of a bunch of different things, too. Chuckling, you gently poked the straining side of his plastic baggie. Yes, it is. Derek leaned across the counter for the water bottles. He slid one over to you to take and grabbed one for himself, too. Okay, I'll close up the packs, then. We can leave this out here for now.
Is that fine?
We don't have any more time to lose. Are we all ready? Several voices called back, answering yes. Mrs. Suarez raised an eyebrow and walked out of the kitchen. No one needs to go potty? No,
No.
I don't have to go potty.
Good.
Good. Does anyone have any questions before we go? She put her hands on her hips and glanced around the apartment. Mr. Suarez raised his hand just as he caught her eye. I'd like to know how we will arrange the rides. There's room for 5 in the back of our car and room for 3 in the Woodrow car.
What do you think?
There is room to switch who is bringing who if there's a want for it. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Elizabeth and Lane are welcome to ride with us, or Derek can feel free to go with Pamela and Noelani. Nicholas and Jorge are staying in our van, though. Frustrated, both smaller boys pouted at their exclusion. Jorge's jaw clenched as he crossed his arms. I'm not a baby. Why do I gotta stay in the van? I'm not a baby! Nicholas, you know you still need a booster seat. We can't put that in their car. Mr. Suarez chuckled at Nicholas's angry grumbling as he passed by into the kitchen, aiming to pick at the remaining snacks. Mrs. Suarez sighed in a tickled but long-suffering way. Dad and I need you there to stay awake for such a long drive. Can you two please keep us company on the car ride? Releasing a deep breath, Jorge nodded. He knew this wasn't the day his mom was going to relent. Nicholas, on the other hand, continued to pout. Okay, Mom. Well, what do you think, Lonnie?
That's fine.
Either way is fine with me. It's up to the kids to decide what they'd prefer. I'll stick with Mom's. She then curiously shifted her attention to you. The corner of her mouth pulled into a smirk because she knew that you and your friend were the ones that this whole decision was for. Derek leaned in close to you, cupping a hand inside of his mouth so only you could hear him. Lane, what are you thinking? Makes sense for everyone to ride with their parents. I want to ride with the Suarezes. Derek should ride with us. And well, if he's alright with that, what are you thinking? I'm gonna throw the question back at him. What are you thinking? He inched back nervously and scratched the side of his neck. His cheeks turned a darker shade of pink. Well, it'd be cool if you rode with me and my family. Then let's go with your idea. Really? Cool.
Let's go.
Okay, now that that's settled, we'll see you there.
Take care.
See you soon, sweetie. Yeah? I don't mind. I ain't got nowhere to be in particular. And I like the Suarezes. Mrs. Suarez went over to your mom's and quickly went into some last-minute advice on the directions. While you waited, you noticed out of the corner of your eye that Mr. Suarez had moved on from nibbling at the snacks. Instead, you caught him passing Jorge and Nicholas an extra cookie each. Genuine cheer came back to both of their expressions. They were so thrilled about the secret cookies that their earlier bitterness about being babied was all sweetened out. And that was that. Snacks and drinks were set, no one needed to go potty, and the rides were arranged. Directions were obtained, and it was finally time to get the trip started. The two families left the condo behind, chattering with an eagerness for the day's activities. At the parking lot, the group split up to get into their different cars. You followed Derek into his parents' minivan. Buckling up, you settled in for the long haul. Here we go! The Suarez minivan was a full house. Mr. Suarez hopped behind the wheel with his wife sitting shotgun. She bent back to double-check that Nicholas was fully strapped into the car seat behind her. Derek, of course, had to sit in the open seat in that second row. That left you and Jorge to take control of the way back. Mrs. Suarez's brow furrowed with frustration. Once again, it became a battle. The wiggling 6-year-old fought against her attempts to tighten the car's seatbelt's front straps. Once she succeeded, Mrs. Suarez brushed the hair that fell forward behind her ear and turned to the rest of you with a lighter expression. Are we all ready? Yes. Yeah, Mom. I am, Mrs. Suarez. Good. She made sure Nicholas was secured one last time before getting herself situated properly. You heard the click of her seatbelt, and then Mrs. Suarez shifted her attention this time to the last row of seats. It's so nice to have you here, Lane. Your skin shyly burned red under her watchful eye. With a nervous smile, you raised a thumbs up. Now that everyone was settled in, the car roared to life and Mr. Suarez pulled out onto the road. Out of habit, he reached over and clicked the CD player on. Upbeat children's music loudly filled the car. Squealing with excitement, Nicholas started kicking his feet to the beat of the song. Next to you, Jorge leaned an elbow on the car door and rested his chin in the palm of his hand. There was a faint smile tugging at the corner of his mouth as he settled in to stare out the window. You caught Derek's green-eyed gaze peeking at you from the space between the headrest and the backrest of the seat. You waved at him. Derek moved out of sight, but only to twist around in the seat to talk to you directly.
It's all good.
Thanks for coming with us on the drive. I can't wait for you to see the boardwalk. It's going to be so much fun. You only got as far as opening your mouth when Nicholas erupted into a stream of loud cheers. The young boy threw both his arms in the air and Derek ducked in his seat, clearly embarrassed. Woo! Nicholas's outburst didn't surprise you one bit. A tiny chuckle escaped Derek as he slowly slid his gaze back over to you. Sorry about that, Lane. This whole drive is probably going to be this rowdy. That's alright. That's okay. Chatting about the day's plans, singing along the radio, look out the window, or sitting here quietly. I'm nervous to sing around people, so I'm going to give that to Lane, so we'll chat about the day's plans. All three brothers immediately jumped in to tell you about their favorite places, and which rides they considered to be the coolest. Even Derek's parents chimed in with their favorite spots to visit. Later during the drive, Nicholas let out a gleeful squeal. You were confused at first what managed to get that reaction out of him, but it soon became clear. Nicholas remembered he had an entire baggie of snacks. He triumphantly pulled it out of his pocket and started munching away at all the tasty treats inside. For once, Jorge followed Nicholas's lead, and then relaxed into a chill snack time. Jorge munched away while watching the world pass by out his window. Derek, on the other hand, simply rested back into his seat, his arms behind his head. I'm gonna save my snacks for later. I'm not hungry yet. Resting your head back, you had a hunch that these snacks would be a lifesaver when your stomach started growling later. After Nicholas had devoured every crumb and licked every bit of sugar from his fingers, he was ready to play again. And so the ride continued to the blasting beat of classic kindergarten tunes with fun road trip games. And despite the trip supposedly taking hours, it didn't feel long until you noticed the first sign of your destination. You caught the first flashes of the tall rides in the distance. Your worries about what would come to pass began to creep back in. Both families pulled into the parking lot, and the kids excitedly bounced out of the cars. The parents cheerfully waved at each other as the groups closed the distance between them. With everyone regrouped, the families strolled onto the boardwalk. Your eyes widened massively. It was like you stepped into a bright world of color. There were shops displaying various beach towels and boogie boards decorated with either popular cartoon characters or tropical flowers. Tom, swimwear, fast food, coffee, and strawberry ice cream. Clothing stalls had racks of sundresses, cover-ups, and swimwear in every pattern imaginable. Ahead, you could make out the colorful tufts of stuffed animals from the prize boards. Darts, ring toss, skee ball, and more waited further down the boardwalk. Music filled the air, but when you listened closely, you could make out so much more. There were various cheers and shouts of victory, joy, and fear. The screams had to be coming from the massive wooden roller coaster that towered behind the stalls. From what you could tell already, this boardwalk was easily 5 times the scale of the entire shopping street in Sunset Bird. You either love it, you prefer your town's tourist trap, you were uncomfortable, you were in good spirits, or you didn't know what to think. I think we prefer our own town's tourist trap. Already there was no question in your mind why people gladly flocked to this boardwalk. It appeared to hold all kinds of thrilling fun. But still, roller coasters were just a dime a dozen. Maybe it was just pride, but nothing could ever top Sunset Bird in your heart. The group began navigating down the wooden boards. Mrs. Suarez hastily grabbed onto Nicholas's arm for safekeeping, and just in time, too. The bustling mood of the area had Nicholas raring to go. He wanted to see, play, and explore every inch. Unfortunately, the 4 parents were just not as energetic as the hyper 6-year-old. With an affectionate shake of her head, Mrs. Suarez struggled to hold on to Nicholas's tiny hand as he attempted to sprint ahead. Irene, why not let the children go? Huh?
Will that be fine?
This child here and the rest of them. I'm sure they'd rather enjoy the park on their own and at their own pace. They'd be safe with each other. She carefully weighed the scenarios in her mind, while Nicholas was too busy trying to forcibly move her forward to notice the important conversation happening. Your moms shared a glance. Be alright. I'd be alright with that as long as no one left the boardwalk. It's large, but it's not too large. The kids are getting older, and they've earned a little freedom from our all-seeing eyes. Okay. Adults and kids get to have their own day at the boardwalk. You caught both Elizabeth and Derek perking up. This was clearly the sign of a perfect day ahead for the two. Mrs. Suarez passed Nicholas off to her husband for a moment. She motioned for the older kids to circle close to her. No more treats for Nicholas. He's had enough candy and cookies for the day. I'm counting on you to keep to that. Mr. Suarez over there can't be trusted. Oops. He stood up straighter and looked away from his wife, pretending that he had no idea what she was talking about. Her knowing smile cracked into a light-hearted laugh. You admired the way her eyes sparkled, teasing her husband. She moved her attention back to the rest of you, and both Jorge and Elizabeth gave her confident nods.
I'm on it.
We've got this, Mom. Derek answered with an added thumbs up. Mrs. Suarez proudly beamed, letting her gaze go between her boys. We'll try our best. Oh, speaking of getting things, I have some money on hand for me and my brothers. Will you and Elizabeth be able to buy ride tickets and knickknacks or any of that sort of stuff? I doubt the pocket change I have is going to be enough for anything. We're going to a boardwalk. I think all boardwalks are like this, to be honest, but I won't swear to that. I remembered my wallet. You confidently put your hands on your hips. Unimpressed, Elizabeth rolled her eyes. Good for you.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. We were going to spend money on you two today. Anyways, so there's no harm if we let you have it. Besides, we don't get to go on trips like this every day. Go a little wild. Exactly. We want you to be able to do things here. Mom dug into her purse and pulled out a handful of bills. She carefully counted out $15 and handed it to Elizabeth. Your sister was unimpressed at that amount and recounted the bills herself. Mom handed you your own $15 next, and you quietly chuckled to yourself. You couldn't help but think about how it probably would have been a 20 if Mr. Holden was there. Man's never gonna live that down in my head. That's so funny. Oh, what's up? It's $20 man. You were already considering all the possibilities. Mom winked and you diligently put the bills away in your pocket. Thanks, Moms. We're all set then. We'll meet again here at 8 p.m. in front of this first stall. Mrs. Suarez took her youngest's arm and crouched down to his level. She brushed some stray hairs out of his face. Go and stay with your brothers today. Be good for them. With an eager nod, Nicholas bolted over to Derek and clung onto his jeans. Derek laughed at the sudden weight and put his hands firmly on the younger boy's shoulder in case he decided to run off. The two sets of parents disappeared in the crowd, moving towards the nearby stores. Standing on your tiptoes, you caught your mom's wave of goodbye one last time before they were completely out of sight. Elizabeth spun in a circle, spotting all the things she might want to try. She must have deemed the boardwalk to be cool because she was cheerier by the second. Eventually her gaze returned to you and the Suarez brothers, and it was clear that her daydreams crashed back down to reality. Next to her, Jorge rocked up to his tiptoes and then back down. Catching her eye, he stopped and nervously inched a little bit closer to Derek. It must feel awkward for a little kid to have two new additions to what was usually a special family affair. You offered him a smile, but tried not to stare at him. You were so eager to get going already. The clock was ticking and you didn't want to miss a single activity. Derek awkwardly took a couple of large steps forwards. His strides were wobbly as Nicholas held onto him tighter, but Derek was ultimately unfazed. Okay, we should start the day right. The face painting stall is up here near the front. Face painting! Jorge brightened with that notion, and Nicholas shook Derek as hard as he could without shaking himself off. Derek's grin widened as he laughed at his brother's delight. Yeah, let's go. Face painting? Are you serious? Nicholas was too absorbed with the thoughts of paint to hear her attitude, but Jorge's joy vanished instantly. You can pinpoint the exact second where Elizabeth remembered how much younger Derek's siblings were. Elizabeth uncrossed her arms, feeling a bit rotten. She cleared her throat and begrudgingly tried to pull back on her visible distaste. I don't need one. However, of course we can go over to that stall. Anyone who wants to do it should. That's great. Honestly, there's lots of times to do tons of things, so it's not a big deal if it sometimes isn't what you want to do, right? His green stare hardened. He directed the statement at both the youngest and oldest member in the crew. Elizabeth snorted, displeased that a kid like Derek was acting like he was in charge, but Derek wasn't in his respectful guest mode, which is what Elizabeth usually saw of him in the neighborhood. Derek was entirely in his eldest brother role. He kept a stern stare on her for another moment before shifting to you. Are you alright with letting my brothers get their face painted? You can too if you wanna, it's actually a lot of fun. Woo! Face painting! Face painting! Face painting! He threw both fists in the air as he cheered, and all three Suarez brothers beamed. Before anyone moved, Derek carefully removed Nicholas's hands from his pants and took a hold of the younger boy's hand instead, like his mom had done before. Derek cheerfully pointed ahead with his free hand.
Let's go!
Let's go! Derek led the way for your group. You followed his line of sight to the row of shops and sported a large, colorful umbrella. As you approached, you noticed two open chairs under the shade of that umbrella, one for the artist and the other for the person being painted. Next to it was a canvas posted with a collage of photos. The examples showed off cheeks dotted with daisies, sparkling gold stars shooting over temples, peace signs, and a whole rainbow of butterflies. Skulls and spiders were options for kids who wanted to get their face painted and still look tough. Someone like Cove, you thought to yourself, chuckling. Of course, that was only a joke. You were positive that Cove would actually get a fish, or a shell, or a dolphin, or something like that. He peeked at the painting tools and the mirror on the wheeled counter. The artist appeared to be a teen just out of high school, or maybe in college. Many of the stalls he passed had younger people running them. The artist eyed your group carefully in return. Hello. Hi. Welcome. I'm Xavier. Would you like me to paint your face today? Yes, please. Xavier went over and plopped down on one of the chairs. Derek nudged Jorge towards the other. Do you want to go first? Jorge hesitated and chewed at his bottom lip, but he wasn't sure until he realized that no one else moved to take the open seat. He seized the opportunity and sat down. What can I do for you? I want a football. Right here. Without missing a beat, Jorge pointed to his forehead. Elizabeth huffed quietly at the conversation, but Xavier gave a serious nod. I can do that, no problem. The artist lightly brushed Jorge's bangs aside and began to work. Next to you, Derek's brow furrowed intently as he studied the picture collage of options. Curiosity striking, you wondered what he was thinking so hard about. But Derek continued to quietly mull things over. He pressed a hand to his chin and sighed. Nicholas will get what I get. I'm not sure what to get because of that. He doesn't like soccer as much as Jorge likes football, so that's probably not the best choice. You get a car for obvious reasons, but Nicholas also really loves rainbows. He also does have cars on his shirt. Get a car, you can't lose with that. It's sweet that he loves rainbows, let him have one. We could get a spider and Nicholas could pretend it's a real one and scare people. Encourage brotherly pranking. Encourage cutie patootiness. He already has cars on his shirt. I'm not gonna do that. Just because I have to see the character sprites all the time, and so do you. So. I'll roll. Evens, rainbows, odds, spiders. It's evens, so we get a rainbow. It's sweet that he likes rainbows. Let him have one. Chuckling, Derek shook his head at your enthusiasm. He raised his hands in surrender. Alright, I'll get a rainbow. I like that they add little stuff to stuff like this. It's cute. Jorge's football didn't take long to finish at all. He got up with a delighted grin and tried to tip his head enough to see the painting without the mirror. He couldn't, but that didn't put a damper on his fun. One of his hands hovered around the football and you knew he was fighting the urge to poke at the wet paint. Derek slid onto the customer chair next. Nicholas leaned his hands on the edge of the seat and intensely watched the artist get to work. As the painting took shape, the smile on Nicholas's face grew. He gasped out loudly in amazement the second he finally figured it out. The artist proudly added the finishing touches and then addressed the youngest Suarez instead. Xavier swirled their paintbrush. Now what do you think? It's awesome! Just what I like to hear. You're good to go then.
Thanks.
Thank you. Derek took one last glance at himself in the mirror and then hopped off the chair. He pointed at the open seat with his thumb. Your turn, Nico. Nicholas clambered onto the chair with a pinched brow. Once he got settled, he sat up tall like a big boy. Hello, what can I get for you to do? For you today, a rainbow! Xavier's gaze instinctively went back to the piece they just finished on Derek. They immediately put together what was happening. That's a great idea. Let's get started. Nicholas nodded and then put all of his mental energy into holding still. You weren't sure how long the 6-year-old could keep that up before he started to squirm. While it was fun to watch Nicholas, you knew your focus was better spent deciding on what design you were actually getting. You were next, so you decided to give the canvas another look. You picked out the... I'm Star Sailor 7. I'm getting the shooting star. Again, Xavier made quick work painting, and Nicholas was soon jumping out of his chair with a brand new rainbow adorning his cheek. You walked over and took his place in the chair. Can I get one too? Of course! The three brothers huddled together off to the side, proudly admiring and showing off each other's face paintings. Elizabeth crossed her arms, spotting you in the chair next. She'd been quietly hanging around the stall, attempting to not be too impatient. You were the last one left to go. I can start when you're ready. Right, you'd shifted your attention away from your group and instead stared directly at into the artist's face. You liked their pink hair. It was pulled back and tucked under a uniform hat, and at this distance, you realized that their eyes were more purplish than the brown color they looked when they were farther away. So what can I do for you? Nervously, you fiddled with your fingers in your lap. You took a deep breath. Would it be okay to get a shooting star? I can work with that. The artist dipped a clean brush into their starting color and then reached forward and began drawing on your cheek. The paint felt cooler than you imagined. Trying not to move too much, the bristles slightly tickled as they glided across your skin. Stroke by stroke, Xavier started with the outer lines and then filled in the center of the drawing. And before you knew it, it was over. You eagerly checked yourself out in the mirror on the counter and beamed. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You got up and rejoined the others. There was a delighted pep in your step as you pointed to the final result. Nice choice. Now that you and the Suarez brothers were happy with all your face paintings, it was time to discover the next activity. Derek quickly paid for himself and his brothers. You dug out some of your own money too, and then it was time to go. Have a good day! You too, Xavier! Your group gave one final round of thank yous to Xavier before moving on from the stall. The flow of the crowd brought you all drifting down the boardwalk. As you traveled further in, you actually spotted your parents. The Suarez boys jumped and waved, and their dad did exactly the same thing across the way. Next to him, Mrs. Suarez tried hiding her ear-to-ear grin with her hands. Your moms had their heads close together, laughing at Mr. Suarez's reaction. I'm not going to shout, but I'll also jump and wave. Throwing your hands in the air, you waved them like crazy as you bounced in place. Elizabeth sidestepped away from the group, not wanting to be associated with the undignified behavior. Moss spotted you right away and pointed Mom in your direction. They joyously waved back to you and Elizabeth. Then your parents continued on their own adventure. Your group traveled further down the boardwalk. You browsed the long row of shops, pointing out all the interesting things on sale. As the afternoon stretched on, your gang continued to enjoy the boardwalk. Elizabeth took long strides and led the pack, cutting her way through the crowd. Everyone was willing to follow her. The Suarez brothers were giving her some leeway since it was her first time here, and you were used to your older sister's attitude. She was making a beeline to the roller coaster, the singular big kid ride of the boardwalk, and nothing was going to stand in her way. I'm just going to hang back with my friends. Elizabeth was fine on her own, and you weren't just there for the rides, you wanted to spend time with your friend. Nicholas had stopped, holding on to Derek instead of flitting around on his own. Derek continued to keep a sharp eye on him. He occasionally pursed his lips when Nicholas was on the cusp of wandering further away than safety allowed. You watched the little boy as well. His attention wasn't nearly as single-minded as Elizabeth's. He eventually started to lag, unable to keep up with Elizabeth's breakneck pace. Nicholas tottered at the end of the group, slowing his pace, falling behind, and then bursting forward to catch back up. It happened on repeat. His eyelids drooped and his head bobbed forward. There was an expression of vacant determination on his face. It was the special kind of stubbornness only the youngest people in society could muster, the type where the concept of stopping wasn't just ignored. It flat out didn't exist in their minds. Luckily for Nicholas, he had a more self-aware big brother who could set limits for him. Hey, let's sit down for a second. What? It's a long walk, especially if you got small legs. So you mean for you? That's right, I do need to take a break. Derek willingly accepted Elizabeth's shot at his stature. You could guess why pretty easily based on his leading tone. If Derek wanted to rest, Nicholas would want that too. Derek scanned the area and pointed out some tables in the distance. Elizabeth glanced at the path ahead once, but didn't argue about changing course. She picked an empty table that looked to be the cleanest of the selection. Everyone took a seat, with a marked preference for sitting under the shaded half. You grabbed your water bottle and took a long and refreshing drink. It remained relatively cool on your tongue. Derek hefted Nicholas up on his lap. His brother wiggled slightly until he found a comfortable position. Lane has the right idea. It's water time. Nicholas gave no audible response. His eyes were completely closed. However, he did accept the water Derek placed in his hands. He sipped it sluggishly. Unfortunately, Nicholas tipped the water bottle upwards until it started to spill.
Oops.
Oops. Derek snatched the bottle back and chuckled. Nicholas opened his eyes slightly, barely perturbed by getting splashed. He rubbed his wet face on Derek's shirt and stayed resting against his chest. Derek patted his head. You had to admit, it was cute. Elizabeth and Jorge drank their water too, side-eyeing the scene but not saying a single word. You should drink, Derek. Thanks, I will. No dehydration. Hydrate or dihydrate, folks. He pulled out his bottle with a smile and began to hydrate. Jorge finished his drink with a final chug. He inclined his head towards his two brothers. Nicholas is gonna fall asleep. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth twisted the cap back on her bottle. She was ready to go. What now? Nicholas let out a small snuffly noise, a snore. Derek looked down at his clearly sleeping little brother, but it was no issue for Derek. He brushed it off as easily as Elizabeth's insult. It's cool. I'll find our parents and they can look after Nico while he naps. Mom and Dad won't mind taking him along since he's down for the count. They're probably sitting at one of the restaurants or browsing a store or something. Elizabeth nodded, glad that it wouldn't be her problem. Jorge appeared more hesitant. Okay. He peeked at Elizabeth and then back at you. Derek smiled reassuringly and then continued to pitch his plan.
Anyway.
Plus, Elizabeth wanted to ride the roller coaster. I would have had to sit back with Nicholas anyway since he's too short for it. It just makes sense for the three of you to do that while I'm dropping off Nicholas. So go get that ride. I'll catch up later. Jorge sighed. He was being left behind thanks to Nicholas, but was placated enough to not argue with his older brother. I'll stay with you so you two aren't alone. Derek's brows furrowed at your request. It's just gonna be a chore. Fewer people doing it means more people actually end up having fun. I'm sure, as long as you're okay with me coming. Derek gave you another minute to change your mind. When you didn't, he beamed brightly back at you. Alright, you're with me. I don't want to ride the roller coaster. I never did. Derek continued, now full of eagerness. We have 2 teams and 2 missions. Pass Nicholas over to the parents and ride a roller coaster while that's happening. Let's go get it done. Lane and I will meet you at the ride so you can stay there if you finish first. The plan met everyone's approval. Elizabeth faced Derek's. Well, thanks, then. Her tone was lukewarm and could easily be mistaken as sarcastic. Derek shot you a look, not completely sure if Elizabeth was being serious or not. You held in a snort and discreetly nodded back at Derek, willing to play Elizabeth's interpreter. Derek relaxed and smiled at your sister. Bye! Bye! He winked at you while Elizabeth and Jorge began to get up and ready themselves. We'll see them soon. He carefully shifted Nicholas around from snoozing on his lap to buoyed in his arms. Gently he eased onto his feet. You dealt with your water and sprung up to your feet. I kind of want to say, Elizabeth, you better take good care of Jorge, but I do feel like she does know that. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say don't have too much fun without us. Elizabeth scoffed and rolled her eyes. I don't have to listen to you. You had your chance. Jorge snorted quietly and tried to cover it with a hand. Plus I feel like those two actually get along fairly well. The snarkastic people. It's great. It's great, it's great, it's great. Derek began to speed walk, moving quickly but smoothly to not jostle his brother too much. You had to keep up a good pace to not be left behind. There was no dawdling and no distractions, despite the best attempts of the boardwalk to draw its guests' attention with dazzling displays and enthusiastic employees. Derek might as well have been walking through an empty hall. You followed your friend down the line of stores and peeked into restaurant windows, but there was no sign of the parents. Your steps started to slow down as you checked another side of the massive boardwalk. This might take longer than I thought, but it'll be alright. He kept upbeat as he pressed his face into yet another window. Still nothing. Maybe Jorge and Elizabeth will have time to ride the roller coaster twice. It's not like that'd be horrible for them. Though, there, his enthusiasm flagged a little.
That's
It does
so
suck that you're stuck with this. Sorry. I didn't want to ride the roller coaster anyway. You'd been planning on just waiting on the sidelines for Elizabeth to be done all along. Helping Derek was preferable to that. Oh! He seemed intrigued, not expecting that from you. After a bit more searching, Derek spoke again.
So,
Do you like roller coasters, or are you scared of them? I just don't think they're fun. I like them, but probably not as much as your sister. When we get back, we could sit out together if Elizabeth and Jorge want to keep riding. His response made you glad that you were friends. Actually, my family really likes going to amusement parks. I've been to this boardwalk probably more than 5 times, and we've gone to other places. Some have a lot more ride options. Oh, and water parks too. He continued chatting along about his favorite water park as you searched down the boardwalk. There are slides and lazy rivers and those giant buckets that dump water on you. Lucky. Love a lazy river. Lazy rivers are great. Just current floating you from one place to the next. No effort, just movement. It is a lot of fun, but it's nothing too special. Flustered and contradictory, he tried to fidget with his hands, only to remember that they were full with Nicholas. You have plenty of time to catch up. You can keep coming along with my family. He listened carefully as he recounted his past theme park excursions. He ranked them on attractions, wait time, and stuff to keep younger family members entertained. The conversation light, you and both laughed and smiled as you walked. Wait! He stopped in his tracks. Nicholas thumped lightly against his chest at the sudden loss of momentum. Derek readjusted him, and luckily Nicholas stayed asleep. I totally forgot we were supposed to be finding our parents. I wasn't even looking anywhere. He shook his head to refocus. You agreed that you had gotten just a little distracted. With that reminder, you both continued searching. Sleeping Beauty occasionally let out a snore. But other than that, Nicholas didn't contribute to the quest. You wandered all around the boardwalk, eyes peeled for any sign of your parents. The sky turned golden as the sun began to disappear under the horizon. You glanced out to sea, and it looked like the ocean was swallowing the day. Lights began to click on, and the already shiny buildings of the boardwalk were set aglow. You took a moment to absorb the sunset. It was nice to take a breath and ignore the noisy backdrop. It was then you finally got an answer to your mystery. No wonder you hadn't noticed before. You gasped out loud. Derek turned to look. He squinted out into the distance before it dropped his jaw. As soon as he understood, he blurted out his shock. They rented bikes? Across the way, pedaling along, the 2 pairs of parents were having a lovely double date. They were far enough away that you couldn't see much more than their helmets, but you could tell that Mom was laughing about something with her head thrown back. That explains that, he muttered under his breath in frustration. He gritted his teeth as the annoyance drained. The cold truth hit him and he whispered defeated, They can't take Nicholas on a bike. Derek shrunk in on himself. Oh no. So? They can stop riding. What are we gonna do? He's their kid. They have to take him. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about it? Derek's eyes flicked over to yours, wide and distressed. He even turned back to the bikes. The parents were blissfully unaware that you were even there. Finally, he let out a tired breath that was dangerously close to a sigh. Shoulders drooped visibly, enough to visibly lower Nicholas. I can't do it. I can't give him to them. Derek? Derek flinched and worried his lip, but not one to keep the mood down. Derek tried to shake it off. A soft smile pulled at his face. He faced the sun and spoke into the slowly disappearing light. It's just one of those things. It happens. Nicholas twitched in his deep sleep, and Derek pulled him closer.
I've got a plan.
Don't worry. I've got a plan. You waited for him to continue with every word. More confidence filled his demeanor. We should go see Elizabeth and Jorge. They must be going crazy wondering where we are. I'm still concerned about you, boy. Was it really okay? Sure, going back to the rest of the group made sense. What else could you do if Derek refused to approach his parents? But you still hadn't solved the Nicholas problem. You worried that this wasn't going to turn out the best for your friend. Alright. You backtracked to the roller coaster. Derek was shuffling behind you. He'd slowed down from his bustling pace earlier. He had to be tired. Beside the sign that let you measure if you were tall enough to ride the roller coaster, Elizabeth stood with folded arms and Jorge waved. You waved back at the two. Elizabeth and Jorge walked over and met you halfway. Hey. He scuffed one of his shoes on the ground. He felt the weight of Elizabeth's gaze and let out a nervous chuckle. He shrugged to say, as if, yeah, the parents' plan didn't work out. Sorry for taking so long. They were sort of a problem. Duh. Nicholas snuffled into Derek's shirt as he snored. Before she or Jorge could ask for more details, Derek jumped in with the other idea he'd hinted at. I'm gonna hold Nicholas until it's time to go home. The rest of you can keep having fun. Go wherever you want to go. Jorge uncomfortably pulled at his shirt, stretching the fabric at its seams. I don't want to go. I want to help. He visibly felt bad about all of this being put on Derek. You got the impression that if Jorge was a little bigger, he'd offer to take a turn holding his baby brother instead.
No.
No, it's okay. I'll be fine. You really shouldn't waste all your time standing around with me. Plus, then who would help Elizabeth and Lane around the boardwalk? They haven't been here before. You know this place and can make sure they don't get lost or don't miss the good parts. Jorge turned to you and Elizabeth, but hesitated with his answer. It would help me to know we didn't send them off alone. They're our guests, right? Okay. Thanks, Jorge. Derek leaned closer to Elizabeth and whispered, Please, I don't want Jorge to miss out on the boardwalk because of Nicholas or because of me. Please go take him and have some fun. Elizabeth and Derek made eye contact for all you could figure, and they had some sort of eldest sibling telepathy going on. That was the only way you could explain it, because rather than arguing, she agreed to work with Derek. I'll do it. Elizabeth then pressed her lips together and considered you. She snorted and then lightly flicked your nose. But I don't need Lane with me. Jorge isn't a pain. Derek's brows creased, not expecting that. Right, I'll handle taking Derek out for some fun. Good. I thought you could do something useful. What, you surprised? You surprised, Mr. Man? We're not gonna leave you. Lane. Derek's voice was strangled and hushed.
You don't have to.
You don't have to do that. What about you? Why does it have to be just you? You could have suggested we take turns watching Nicholas. Derek shook his head and you felt your stubbornness
It
spark.
doesn't matter.
It's fine, somebody's gotta be here for Nicholas, and it's easiest if I do it, that's all. You crossed your arms, unwilling to let him wriggle out of your company.
Yeah, sure.
Jorge, show me something interesting. Jorge gulped but nodded. His gaze bounced between Elizabeth and your standoff with Derek, and he wisely chose to take his leave. He led Elizabeth away, passing by the assorted stalls. He seemed to have an idea of where he was going, so he figured he and your sister would probably have a good time. Derek shifted his weight from foot to foot, bouncing around like the floor was on fire. He got more panicked the further away your sister and his brother got without you. Lane, you have to go. I'm the one who decided not to give him to our parents. It's not your fault. It's mine. You need to go have fun. I won't. When the two were completely out of sight, Derek stopped his frantic movement, having spent all his excess nervous energy. You met his gaze head-on, staring at the friend who simply couldn't help himself from being helpful. His face changed into something tense and small. You wondered how many times he did this, took on all the responsibility so that others didn't have to be bothered. It didn't seem like he was called out on it much. Slowly, he smiled. His grin was tender enough to be genuine. Well then, if you're gonna be here anyways, we don't have to make ourselves miserable. It's you and me and, well, Nicholas, time? You nodded, ready to enjoy your time with Derek.
Alright.
Alrighty. He lifted Nicholas higher and stood tall, ready to take on the world. Then his knees buckled and he blushed. Can we sit down somewhere? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. After spending all that time searching high and low, you both needed a break. You dragged yourselves over to a nearby bench. It was thankfully empty and away from the crowd. Derek took a seat and exhaled deeply. He kept Nicholas clutched close to his chest. It was a familiar motion, one that Derek must have done hundreds of times before. You don't like getting help, do you?
Maybe?
Oh, maybe. He appeared surprised at your observation and unsure how to respond. He sank in on himself, curling around Nicholas as he stared at the boards in front of him. He mumbled soft enough that you had to hold your breath to hear. I don't think that's such a bad thing. You weren't sure what to make of that. He wasn't lying, but looked too sad for it to be the full truth. He didn't say any more about it. After you both had settled, Derek carefully reached into his pocket. He struggled to dig around to find what he was searching for. Aha! He pulled out his special snack baggie in triumph. It was still completely full, untouched from this morning. Derek tried to pick out some morsel from the bag, but it was even harder to keep Nicholas from flopping over. Can I help? Derek flushed at your offer and became self-conscious over the fact that he noticed his difficulty. Thanks. Despite his embarrassment, he passed the snacks to you. You took the bag and he steadied his hold on Nicholas. Okay. Oh, I just need the granola chunks. You can have the other stuff in there. Is that your favorite? Yeah, but no. He squinted at him in confusion. He laughed cheekily, having expected your reaction. It's my favorite snack in the bag, but that's not the reason why I want it. The other stuff isn't for me. There's a handful of the cereal Nicholas secretly likes. That way he can have something that's not just candies and cookies. I brought the walnuts for Jorge in case we were out too long and got hungry, and
Honestly.
the shortbread cookies are for you, you know, because maybe you'd get hungry too. That's 4 handfuls. I'm looking at this, and part of me wants to go, "Aw, you're so sweet," but I'm kind of mad at him right now for just taking everything onto himself. So he's such a good boy. He's such a sweetie pie, but I'm mad at him right now. You gotta let other people. You gotta. Come on, dude. You're so nice. You're so nice, but you can't just. You gotta. Obviously, I'm frustrated at him, but we'll figure it out. You shouldn't use your snack bag for other people. But if he got hungry, Derek prepared for everyone but himself. He really thought that everyone else wouldn't have enough. Maybe his parents should let him bring along bigger bags.
No worries.
It's nothing. He tried to reassure you and brush off your concern. To him, it wasn't a big deal. Do you want any shortbread cookies? You can take it. You should eat it. It's your special
Okay.
snack bag. Alright, you can hand it over. He chuckled and he fished out some granola and shortbread cookies. I still have mine. It's not letting me eat from mine, but I have mine. I'm fine. Derek held out his hand and you carefully dropped the snacks into his palm. Thanks. He popped one of the tiny oat clusters into his mouth and started chewing. So I am going to offer him some of mine. Want some of my snacks? You held out your baggie in a place where you could just pour it out for Derek if he said yes. His eyes lit up in amusement as he considered your snacks, but he winked at you, a clear sign of the clownery to come.
Sorry.
No, those are your snacks, so you gotta eat them. You laughed. Turnabout was fair play. You'd refused him, so he'd refused you. Both of you leisurely enjoyed the time. Derek ate away at the granola, peppering the air with soft crunching noises. You quietly let him savor his food. The munching and high-pitched snoring served as the only sounds between you for a while. You passed Derek the last cluster of granola. You had to really try to get it out of the bag around all the cereal and walnut chunks. He accepted it with great enthusiasm and took his final bites. He swallowed, satisfied. He absent-mindedly patted Nicholas's head as he peered up and down the street. Something caught his eye and he lit up. You know, I was so focused before I kind of forgot where we were. This is still the boardwalk. He was as excited as he had been towards the beginning of the day.
Let's go.
Want to rock around? There's a lot of interesting stuff here, even if we're only looking. Okay. Derek gave you a thumbs up and then at Nicholas. Can you help me move him onto my back? That'll be easier for the long haul. You stood up to help. It took both of you fumbling around, but with the effort you were able to get the little boy comfortably on Derek's back. Then you left the bench behind to explore the bustling waterfront park. Without consciously deciding to, you gravitated towards the edge of the path closest to the sea. You studied the beautiful ocean, your breath almost taken away by how the water sparkled under the last flickers of sunlight. The evening remained pleasantly warm despite the encroaching darkness. Your skin felt taut under your face paint. The paint had started to crack after its long exposure to the elements. Is it normal for Nicholas to fall asleep like this? Kind of. Sometimes something is so excited that Nicholas bounces off the walls just imagining it. By the time he gets there, he's already burnt himself out. Pretty sure Nico didn't sleep at all last night because he knew today was going to be boardwalk day. Will he be upset that he slept through the day when he wakes up? I promise he'll be alright. Nico isn't great at imagining what he might have done if things went different. He lives in the moment, as we should all strive to be honest. So long as he wakes up on his own, he won't be a grouchy monster. I hope Jorge and Elizabeth are having a good time. Your parents should give you a raise. Your parents should give you a raise. I don't think it works like that, but it would be cool if they did. Rather, they should give you a raise. They're good parents, but you also seem to be another parent for your brothers sometimes. Walking down the boardwalk was peaceful. The conversation was easy with the occasional giggle. Other groups of people passed by. Couples, young friend groups, and families with children all bustled about. You caught slivers of conversations ranging from the mundane to the philosophical. Derek glanced at the faces around him and grinned to himself. It kind of feels like we're parents and this is our kid. He twisted around to show you Nicholas with amusement. Yeah, haha, I'm glad he's not actually my kid. That's weird. Derek gave a full-bellied laugh. It surprised you that Nicholas didn't stir. I guess I know how you really feel. As he led you down the boardwalk, you noticed a new skip in his step. Hey, I have an idea. Let's ride the Ferris wheel. We've officially given up on getting our parents, and even Nico can do that. You're a genius. Derek let out a whoop and turned around like it was a little happy dance. You laughed, charmed by his enthusiasm. You both eagerly made your way through the crowd to get in line for the one ride that was an option for you. Derek cautiously weaved past people, making sure no one accidentally bumped Nicholas on the way. The line was short, and it didn't take long for you to start boarding the ride. You piled into the cabin, and Derek placed Nicholas in the corner of the metal bench. He sat next to him. Nicholas snuffled when he was jostled, but didn't wake. Derek wrapped his arms around him to secure him from falling forward. Nicholas unconsciously leaned his head over to rest on him. You rested on the bench across from them, eye to eye with Derek. It felt sturdy under you. Derek's grin widened and he tapped his toes together as he waited for the ride to start. And it did. The carriage car rocked forward. Slowly you ascended into the sky. You could see the entire expanse of the boardwalk from the cabin. It was an amazing sight. From this height, the stalls and decorations looked like a magical land of toys. You glanced at Derek, curious if he was enjoying the view too. The sun continued to sink as the Ferris wheel rose, and the light that reached inside the cabin through the little window was low. Sharp-edged shadows cut across Derek's body. He stopped shuffling his feet, and he switched to tapping his finger against the top of his knee in a jittery, uneven beat. With Nicholas still sound asleep, it felt like you were alone with Derek. In the small space, high in the air, with no one else around, he made one more attempt to get Derek to be open with you. If he didn't do it now, then when would he? Derek, I know it's kind of awkward to keep talking about it, but I am kind of worried. You began to list your points of concern, and the whole thing sounded even more unreasonable when said in a single sentence. You got the face paint Nicholas wanted, you picked out snacks for other people, you gave up your own chance to have fun today so our parents could go on a bike ride. Why don't you do things for yourself? He shrunk under the accusation like the walls were bending in on him. Well, it's not like I can't ever do things for me. I do sometimes. You weren't convinced and spelled that out with the furrow of your brow and the tight line of your mouth. Derek acted the scolded child and hung his head in shame. But he felt compelled to fill the uncomfortable silence your reaction had left. It's easier to do things for other people than to try and fight for something just for me. And that makes everything easier for other people too. You almost spoke out in his defense to declare that he should stand up for what he needed, but you held it back. Derek was finally expressing himself, and you didn't want to interrupt. I feel this issue. I understand. I understand. Oof. He rambled on, trying to sort out his thoughts and arrange the words in a way that made sense to both you and himself.
I don't know.
I like thinking about the people I love. I really seriously do like doing stuff that makes them happy. I don't want to have to stop doing any of that. Derek tightened his hands into fists. His words were earnest, and he directed them straight towards you with unwavering eye contact. I mean, even though it's annoying sometimes, annoying for me and whoever tries to stick with me. However, as true as it was, his resoluteness fizzled out almost immediately. Derek timidly sunk down in his seat. He brushed his little brother's bangs away from his closed eyes. It was a nervous, momentary distraction. Nicholas offered him some emotional support just by being there. When Derek spoke again, it was in a tiny voice. But maybe part of me is hoping that instead of having to do more for myself and less for others, somebody would try to do things for me too. Then it'd be even. Derek shifted shyly. His head was still low, but his gaze shifted up to you. It's kind of like a dream or something that I've got. If I'm not doing that for anyone else, how am I going to find someone who will do it for me? I can't just ask for stuff that not even I'd want to give. Your eyebrows shot up, but the rest of your body froze in place. Derek turned his face towards the window. It wasn't enough to cover the way his cheeks had reddened. My family cares about me, obviously, but a lot of the time that's the thing I need help with. With a laugh, Derek liberally tousled the hair of the beloved pain in his side who laid there, the youngest brother remaining blissfully unaware of the trouble he'd caused. The humor in his tone left Derek as quickly as it had appeared. He couldn't get away from how serious the topic was or how much it truly meant to him. It'd be cool to have somebody who was on my side and who liked me because of me, not because they're family and are supposed to love me. For a single instant, his eyes met yours and then instantly focused on the world outside of the scuffed, clouded window of the old Ferris wheel. You could see a lopsided grin reflected in the glass. Don't tell my bros I imagine some pretty dumb things. It's not dumb, it's normal.
Thanks.
And nice. I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel that way. Thanks. The foggy face you could make out in the window pane trembled. He wasn't ready to show it directly, but you were glad you still got a glimpse of it. He grasped the top of one knee and took a deep breath in through his nose. When he exhaled, he carefully laid out a few more words for consideration. Hey Lane, is there somebody that you think, but he never placed the last part?
Forget it.
Never mind. Forget it. It's alright, you can tell me later. Thanks. You're great. It's just this idea I've been kicking around, but I should probably think about it a little more. A lot more. Besides, Derek shrugged an arm and cocked his head down to the extra bit of company who was still gently snoring. It's kind of awkward to talk about all this personal stuff with my baby brother right here, even if he is asleep. He chuckled good-naturedly, moving his hand to scratch behind his ear. Maybe I can try again later. The back of his foot knocked against the lower wall of the outcropping metal seat on repeat. It sounded like the end of that conversation, but that didn't mean nothing else was on his mind. Derek was always considering something, and most of the time it was other people. Things someone else might have missed or forgotten weren't taken for granted by him. Thanks for helping with the snacks before. That piece of appreciation was given easily. The next, though, was far meeker. And thanks for coming with me. Anytime, Derek. This time, Derek shared his bright and bashful face directly with you. You could always count on him. That was a certainty, and Derek knew that that sentiment was mutual. You would look out for him whether he did it for himself or not, whether he asked you to or not, and whether he wanted you to or not. That was just as sure. Not much more was said before the ride came to a steady, inevitable end. You disembarked from the cabin with Nicholas securely in Derek's arms. He strolled from the exit to the nearest stall to ask the employee what time it was. 8 p.m. was quickly approaching. We better go to the meetup place. Can you help me get Nico on my back again? How about I carry him now? Instinctively, Derek pulled back. He clung tighter to his youngest brother, keeping the weight of that burden squarely on himself. You waited, calm and stable. Ultimately, the tension on his face and the hesitancy in his heart faded, and he accepted your offer graciously. That'd actually be great. Thanks, Lane. Derek shifted his grip on Nicholas before he propped the small boy over your shoulders. You tucked your elbows around Nico's knees and hunched over so he wouldn't slip off. Nicholas draped heavily on your back like a fluffy car-patterned cape. He wasn't really that heavy, but you could easily imagine how carrying that extra load could get tiresome after a while. Derek definitely needed a break. Perfect. Together you wandered across the path. People surrounding you were full of enthusiasm, bustling from ride to ride and store to store, but a quiet peace had settled between you and Derek. Your day at the boardwalk was already coming to an end. The sky had gone completely dark by the time you reached the meeting spot, but the world around you was still awash with light. Street lamps bore down on you while the spotlights shot upwards to illuminate the biggest rides. You and Derek huddled at the side of the path. You wanted to stay out of the way of other visitors who were trickling into the parking lot and the ones who were rushing the opposite way for a last-minute excursion on the boardwalk. You hoped the strangers enjoyed themselves, but for you and Derek plus the sleeping Nicholas, there was nowhere to go, at least not until you caught sight of your currently missing family members. We beat them. Yeah. Used the break as an opportunity to readjust Nicholas. He had started to slide a bit during the trip over. Since there were only 2 awake members of your group, you both wordlessly kept your eyes peeled. Every figure approaching in the distance was scrutinized and then disregarded as just another stranger. That process repeated for a few minutes, but eventually 2 shadowed forms coming down the path stepped under a light and you immediately recognized them. Hey, Elizabeth! Derek jumped and waved his hands over his head. He was entirely free to draw attention to himself that way thanks to you taking over piggybacking Nicholas. Even on the other end of the boardwalk, you could tell Elizabeth was smirking. Hey, she got face paint, look at her! When Derek's brother and your sister rejoined in front of the first stall, you were proven right. She definitely had a leering smirk. It's very cute that you're taking a turn with the precious baby. Ha! Derek barked out a laugh. Elizabeth's smile wasn't the only notable thing on her face, and Derek wasn't even polite enough to let her get away with it. Maybe, but what's that on your forehead? It's a golf ball. The oldest kid hadn't returned exactly the same way you'd left her. She now had a bright white golf ball emblazoned on her skin on a non-toxic water-soluble paint. You went back to the face painting stall? After a small huff, Elizabeth plainly laid out her case. Jorge and I talked a little about sports we liked. When I told him I did golf, he suggested I get a face paint of that. I did, and it was fun. Her chin was high, and she spoke with defiance. Elizabeth absolutely refused to be embarrassed by her change of mind. Jorge stood at your sister's side and proudly took credit for the accomplishment. Hell yeah, Jorge. You did a great job, bud. She didn't want to do it before because she was just being an Elizabeth. Huh?
Nice try.
Better than being a Borge. Yeah, I thought that. I thought they'd get along. I'm glad. Jorge and Elizabeth chuckled over the quips. Apparently they had unique nicknames for one another now. It left Derek nearly speechless. Wow. Clearly, you and Derek weren't the only ones who went through a bonding experience this evening. I'm glad you had fun. I feel like I'm being replaced. That's so cute, Elizabeth. It's sweet you're getting along. You smiled in relief that everything went well. I feel like I'm being replaced. You are. Sorry. Tell that to our moms. I think I could have convinced them to adopt Jorge. Tell that to Jorge's parents. Lighthearted laughter drifted around the group. Whether you were divided up or all together, the Suarezes and the Woodrow kids enjoyed each other's company. Your sister exhaled calmly and then followed with a sage nod. I'll take Nicholas now. Oh? Whether Derek was going to agree or disagree with the offer you didn't know. But Nicholas didn't give him the chance. She wasn't suggesting what he thought she was. You've got like 10 or 15 minutes left. The two of you should use it. What? You want us to leave him with you? Yeah, let her do it. Come on. Derek took a hesitant step back and turned his face away. His expression tensed the same way it had when he first realized Nico was going to be asleep for the rest of the trip. Nicholas is going to be mad if I'm not there. The resistance was a weak mumble, and his middle brother spoke with much more boldness. Nicholas isn't going to know, and what he doesn't know won't kill him. Jorge? Yeah! You spent time with Elizabeth and you got some fight in you, and she spent some time with you and got some I gotta be nice to little children's in her. Balance. Derek was at a loss at where that had come from. You hadn't expected it either. Jorge was never the rule bender. You must have missed even more than you thought during his time with Elizabeth. Derek, let's go for it.
Hurry up.
See, even your darling Lane wants you to stop being such a goody two-shoes for a single second. Go have fun, for Pete's sake. Yeah, hurry, you have to do stuff at the boardwalk while we're at the boardwalk. He shyly scuffed his sneaker on the ground with a doe-eyed expression that was more expected from Nicholas. It was exceedingly rare for anyone to tell Derek what the plan was. He was used to coming up with all the ideas and taking charge. Derek glanced at you. It was impossible not to smile at him.
Right.
Alright, I'll do it. Okay! Finally! There was a quick passing of the buck as Elizabeth took Nicholas into her hands. She carefully positioned his head against her shoulder and cradled his legs under her forearms. Derek found the hold satisfactory and entrusted his youngest brother to her the same way he'd let her borrow the responsibility of watching out for Jorge. No more time was wasted. You shot down the boardwalk one more time. The flow of traffic had shifted even more from when you'd started waiting with everyone except for you moving towards the exit. You pushed against the tide into the heart of the park. Your feet and heart were beating hard. Derek shouted over the sound in a breathless, thrilled voice. The lines are going to be short this late, but I don't think we can do two. Which one do you want to do? Or we don't have to go on a ride at all. How about we get a treat? Nicholas isn't here and your mom didn't say we aren't allowed more snacks.
Really?
Oh yeah, Lane? His grin curved mischievously. Well, if we're being less responsible and doing stuff just for us, that does sound like the way to do it. Secret treats it is! You rushed up to the ordering window of a nearby stall, having to catch yourself on the edge to avoid completely crashing into it, or into Derek. He had his own near disaster stop right next to you. The poor employee had to wait for you to finish laughing before they were able to get an order out of you. When you finally calmed your giggles and got funnel cake! Funnel cake! Derek ordered an ice cream for himself. He gave you a thumbs up with one hand as he passed a $5 bill over to the cashier with the other. I'll let you try mine if I can have some of yours. You laughed just a little bit more as you paid for yourself. And just like that, your mom's money was gone. But in exchange, you held a delicious funnel cake. Delicious. Derek stared down at the creamy confection he'd selected. Honestly, I do kind of feel a little bad about this. I know my bros would want to be able to do this too if they could. But I do have some delicious ice cream to make myself feel better. Exactly. The two of you took a seat on a nearby bench and enjoyed your own illicit treats. You each took samples of the other. Funnel cake! Gosh, I wonder what toppings they had for that funnel cake. Judging from the fact that they had everything there. Probably had the common powdered sugar, but also hot fudge and caramel, because they got ice cream too. And those are common ice cream toppings. I wondered if you could have wheedled them into putting sprinkles on it. I wouldn't do that, but children are always doing crazy stuff with their food. Either way, funnel cake! Funnel cake! When you were finished, you dumped all the evidence in the trash can. Nicholas would never know. Derek stared at the sparkling stars beyond the glitz and the clamor of the boardwalk. There was a peace between you that hadn't been there at any other moment during your trip. Hey! His eyes had stolen the shine from the cosmos when he placed his gaze back on you. It was way too awkward to talk about before with my little brother right there, but I want to say I really like hanging out with you, Lane. I love my brothers and parents a ton, and my other friends are great too, but when I have to pick someone to team up with, I think about you. He shrugged his shoulders with a shy grin. Derek was someone you could count on for honesty, but sometimes it still surprised you what he was capable of. I'd partner with you anytime. Oh, cool. Getting the chance to spend some time with truly just the two of you was more than you could have hoped for. You owed Elizabeth one. Despite taking an entire jaunt around the boardwalk, you still arrived at the entrance before your parents. However, there had been a shift in the group. Nicholas was awake. As soon as Derek noticed the small third figure standing by Elizabeth and Jorge, he started like he was hit by a bolt. He made a break for his siblings, and you were right behind him. The motion was not exactly subtle, and it caught the attention of the boy in question. He let out a shout when he saw your rapid approach. Well, technically, it wasn't your arrival that had an impact. Derek's back! Nicholas sprinted away from the meeting spot, not willing to wait a single second for the reunion. He crashed into Derek, wrapping his arms around his brother's thighs and sticking his head in the space between Derek's legs. Oof. It was powerful enough to knock Derek off balance. He had to swing his arms out to the side to stop his wobbling. Once he was sure he wasn't going to topple over, Derek bent down and scooped up his hanger-on. Seeing Derek carrying Nicholas felt extremely familiar by this point, but considering that had been the case for the entire afternoon. But Derek wasn't sick of it yet. He could handle it for a little longer. Derek nudged his head towards the other two members of your party, encouraging you to come. Together, you and Derek walked the rest of the way to the boardwalk entrance, while Nicholas clung to Derek the whole way. Jorge waved you over.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hey! And the moment you were whispering in the distance, you were greeted by a hushed message from your own big sibling. Good job. She put a finger to her cheek and smirked. Derek slowly knelt down to let Nicholas get down. The little boy stood on his own 2 feet, but his hands didn't detach. They only grasped the hem of Derek's jersey instead. While brushing his brother's messy hair, Derek glanced up at Nico's temporary babysitters. He stared at them questioningly. What happened was the obvious unspoken question. He's only been up for a few minutes. And he was really grumpy at first, because you weren't there, but we got him talking about the dream adventure he had when he was sleeping to keep him busy, and that worked. It was really funny, and Nico had a good time too. Jorge beamed with pride at the success, and you noticed how much closer he stood to Elizabeth. Your sister accepted his company just as welcomingly. They were their own partners in crime for the day. I'm basically positive that after about 5 minutes he stopped telling us his actual dreams and was making it all up. But it was cute. Derek blinked at the two as if he had witnessed a miracle. It kind of was in a small way. He was able to pass the mantle of responsibility, and everything turned out fine. However, Elizabeth and Jorge wouldn't be replacing Derek anytime soon, or likely ever. Nicholas may have behaved for a bit, but now that his biggest brother was here, the young lad wanted to be taken care of. His gaze dropped to the ground as he pulled at the end of Derek's shirt. Derek, my tummy hurts. I want an ice cream. No ice cream, Nico. That's not going to help your stomach. But you can have some of my snacks. I saved you part of it. Derek's tone really sold the idea. was full of appeal from the fact that it was his snacks. He could hype up a product better than any of the employees running the games on the boardwalk. Nicholas brightened immediately. He clasped his own collar and leaned his head all the way back up to look up at his brother's face from where he stood against Derek's legs. He wasn't kept waiting long. Derek pulled the baggie out of his pocket and sifted through the mix of walnuts and cereal to pick out the treat especially chosen for Nico. Once he'd collected a small handful, he passed it over to Nicholas, carefully dropping the round cereal puffs one by one. In Nicholas's tiny palm, the amount was almost overflowing. Nicholas gratefully received the offering. He shoved the whole thing into his face and ate it directly out of his hand. It reminded you of feeding oats to a pony, except in this case, Nicholas was both the feeder and the fed. Derek nodded in satisfaction and rolled the bag over in his palm. Jorge, these are for you. He gathered the last wayward pieces of cereal and offered the well-worn bag of nothing but walnuts to the middle child. It's been a really long day and there's still the ride back. You should eat something. Jorge didn't argue with that. He gladly accepted his brother's thoughtful gesture. Thank you. Jorge plucked out just one from the pack, the heartiest-looking nut in the bunch, and took a bite out of it. His gaze shifted towards Elizabeth, or Elizabeth, as Jorge knew her. He swallowed a snack, then he asked a question. Do you want any?
Thanks.
You know what? I would. Thanks. Elizabeth was the third person who took a turn of opening up a hand to receive a snack. Jorge shook a few of the nuts into her waiting palm. Derek, you and Lane can have some too. Nicholas's fingers remained pushed against his mouth, but distinct chomping stopped. He spoke muffled words through a handful of half-crushed cereal. I can share too! He stuck his sticky palm up towards Derek's face instead of his own. The gesture had crumbs cascading down his shirt. Nico couldn't reach high enough to get it all the way into his brother's mouth. Derek shook with giggles and poked Nico's wrist to nudge the pile of soggy cereal away. He had to take a second to breathe before he could explain himself. I've got some of the cereal right here. That'll be from you. Thanks, Nicholas. I'm gonna eat it. That logic seemed sound to Nicholas, or maybe just seeing his brother's smile made Nicholas smile too. Either way, he accepted that not taking more of the cereal counted as him sharing it. But he wasn't done. Nicholas turned around on a dime, arms still outstretched, and positioned his hand towards you. Amazingly, he wanted to share with someone other than Derek. You kiddos are all way too nice. I'm good. I just had funnel cake. He matched Derek and laughed. He knew he was trying to be nice, but it was just hilarious. Before Nicholas could start flinging bits of cereal at you, in his eagerness to share, a warm voice boomed over the din of the busy boardwalk. Good evening, family and friends! It was Mr. Suarez. Not only him, you spotted all four of the parents weaving their way through the crowd. We're here! The sight of his mommy and daddy made Nicholas forget all about feeding you his pre-chewed snack. He smashed the remaining cereal into his mouth so he could use both his hands to wave at his parents. Dad! Mom! Derek called back with equal excitement. The parents picked up the pace and came to gather around their children. Greetings were shared between adults and kids. Immediately, Ma noticed the face paint that was now adorning your group.
Wonderful.
You all look wonderful. So creative. Nicholas forced himself to swallow the mouthful. This was the moment he'd been waiting for. He sucked in a huge breath, pointed to his cheek, and cheered. Rainbow!
That's good.
Why, you're right! It is a rainbow. It's beautiful, Nico. Nico giggled gleefully at the praise from the grown-ups. Mrs. Suarez then clasped her hands together and changed the topic. Well, everyone, I'm sorry you beat us here. Hopefully you weren't waiting too long.
Great.
Nah, it was fine.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you waiting here for us. We went on a very lovely bike ride across the boardwalk.
Really?
Really? You were out there pedaling around on bikes? Mm-hmm. Elizabeth and Jorge's faces of genuine surprise at the news helped distract from the awkward, knowing glances you shared with Derek. Returning them was a real hassle. That's why we got here late. Definitely worth it, though. It was. And did you children have a good day? Nicholas threw his hands in the air to answer with full force. Yeah! Derek softly patted his littlest brother's head. His voice was much quieter and distinctly relieved. Yeah. You, Jorge, Elizabeth nodded and offered your own points of agreement. It may not have gone as you had imagined, but none of you would consider it a waste of time. It was an experience worth having.
That's great.
That's great. I'm sure you made the most of what you had, but we better get going. It is very late. Perhaps we should pick up dinner on the way home. Absolutely. It's been hours since we left, and Nicholas can always sleep in the car since he won't be home before bedtime either way. All of the kids, except for Nicholas, had their face go completely flat, and Elizabeth snorted. Mrs. Suarez didn't miss that instant reaction. She raised a brow. Derek straightened the bands on his wrist and broke the news to his mom. There was a glint of amusement in his eyes. Sorry, Mom, I don't think that's gonna happen. Nicholas remained oblivious to the discussion going on about him. He was leaping and bounding from board to board, completely refreshed. His mother frowned. It was obvious to her what had occurred. Mr. Suarez was unflustered. He shared some dignified optimism. Well then, he'll be up to keep us company. True, we'll all be together. Those words reached the small ears of the youngest person there. Nicholas held onto Derek's abdomen, liking the sound of that promise. His older brother looked down at him
Good job,
warmly.
sweet.
Glad to have you back, Nico. And Jorge, you're such a reliable bro. He wrapped one arm around Nicholas and reached over to pull his other brother into the hug. Jorge welcomed and reciprocated the embrace. The Suarez trio snuggled together in a tight squeeze, and their flaking face paint rubbed off on each other. Your gaze wandered from the public display of affection and went to your own sister. Elizabeth was definitely not a hugger, but you whispered your own siblingly appreciation for her. Thanks, Elizabeth, for watching Nicholas. She gave a smug flip of her hair. Forget it. I owed you one after your grand stunt for me on Daddy Day. Aw, Elizabeth.
Let's go.
Let's go! That was all that needed to be said. Your completed party took their final steps on the boardwalk, heading straight towards the parking lot. Mrs. Suarez was leading the pack. Mom! Hey, Mom! Nicholas shouted and waved to get his mother's attention from behind while still using one hand to grip Derek. Guess what? Elizabeth carried me. She did? That's so considerate. Elizabeth.
Oh.
Elizabeth. Your moms were walking arm in arm, sharing hushed commentary with each other, a distance from the group and tittering over what they heard. I carried you too while you were sleeping. Really? Really? And it was longer than Elizabeth did. Wow. I feel the one who carried Nicholas the most today should get the biggest say in what we should
My
have for
thoughts
dinner.
Exactly.
I'd second that. Sounds fair to me. Then we all agree. And I guess that means Derek will be our dinner decider for the night.
Maybe.
Probably. Derek scratched at the rainbow on his cheek and chuckled airily. He shrugged without commenting, simply continued to walk. His little brother stayed at Derek's sides, and they bumped along together. He strolled with Elizabeth while the parents surrounded the set of siblings at the front and from behind. Derek's hands were full of Nicholas and George, but he snuck a fond glance over at you. None of his excitement had faded. The night was still young and bright, and you knew you could count on every person there. Despite being miles away from Sunset Bird, you felt right at home. Alright. Now that that is saved, my voice is starting to give out on me. I can sort of feel it. So I'm going to say that that's going to be the end for this stream. Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you all being here. I hope that whenever our signals cross again, you'll join me once more. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful time and live your best life and do what makes you happy. Until then, I will see you next time. Bye bye.